Hello, everyone, and welcome to Look Behind You, the podcast where we talk about the paranormal, the supernatural, and everything in between. I'm joined by my co-hosts, one of them being Jordan.
Hello.
And the other one being Terry.
Yo. I'm very sleepy.
You are very sleepy.
It is 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we finally got our new mixer thingy working, and then we goofed off for another 2 hours.
It has sound
I
bites.
finished 2 comics while I was waiting.
Well, that was me trying to get it to work, but then we goofed off for 2 hours.
That is true.
And then Jordan did Jordan things.
I always do me things.
But hey, the cool thing is we got fancy sound clips we can do now.
We have fancy, colorful buttons now.
Yeah.
Well, they're only blue.
No.
I can't hit one?
No.
I'm going to hit one.
Because we don't know what the volume is for
I'll
recordings.
adjust in post-production.
You can't.
Save it for the second half.
Save it for the
We
second
can give them a
half.
showcase at the end.
Yes. Just
What?
where we press all 9 at the same time.
I don't want to put. I just want to make a joke one.
Fine.
No.
Let's play with a button.
Okay, I'll wait until the end.
See, I knew you'd do that. You would wait until we gave you the okay just to not do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I see that smirk. You can't deny it.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm tired. What are we gonna talk about today, Terry?
We are talking...
I don't think we're talking about a what, but a who.
A thing?
No, a person.
What's it?
A Bob?
No.
A Nikola.
Nicola. Or Nikolai.
What's a nickname for a Nikola? Nicky?
Nickel.
Nickel? That's just a coin.
Nickel. Nick.
Nicky.
Nicky.
Nikola.
Yo,
Hey,
Nicky.
Nicky.
But we are talking about Nikola Tesla. Or more specifically, just a little snippet of obscure, I don't know what you call it, history or conspiracy.
Unknown
say
part
an-
of his life.
Yeah, I'd say an odd fact.
Yeah, an
Yeah.
odd fact. A pinpointed odd fact of a supposed, what he believed to have been a alien frequency that he discovered during one of his experiments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting because Nikola Tesla is just interesting all around.
Oh, yeah.
He was very much a eccentric, but also a genius at the same time.
Yes.
I see
Yes.
you over there touching buttons, and I'm very worried.
Well, I realized you're way lower than the rest of us.
Oh.
Because apparently, when we start recording, you talk like a normal human being.
How funny.
Yes.
Unlike what you were talking like before we started recording.
Okay, see, I live in a house with old people who are like, what'd you say? We can't hear. Speak up.
You could have shortened that sentence too. I live with a bunch of deaf people.
Nah.
Okay.
That's not a descriptive enough.
That's not descriptive enough, yes. I'm deaf.
You are deaf.
But,
I'm illiterate.
what's that make Jake? I'm deaf. You're illiterate. Jake, what are you?
I'm all the above.
Okay.
I'm deaf and illiterate and blind.
He is potato.
I am potato that pushes fancy buttons.
It's just a potato that's like, quick, pause that. Flop.
Anyways, I didn't mean to break your flow of concentration. What were you saying?
I had a flow of concentration.
You were
We were
talking,
talking
about,
about
Nikki.
Nikola. I don't think that name fits.
No.
Like,
you look at Nikola Tesla.
Look at that man.
He's not a Nicky.
He is not a Nicky.
He's a Nikolai. Or I honestly don't know. I've heard it both ways.
I think he is just
kinda
purely
looks
a
more like a-
Nikolai.
He kind of looks more like a Chad.
He is a Chad.
Chad Tesla.
Chad
Tesla.
Nikolai Chad Tesla.
I mean, I guess that just like his life, that's kind of up to debate from person to
It is.
person. Like I say, he's very eccentric.
Well,
And-
doesn't he have like this weird stereotype around him where he was either known for being a really big a-hole or he was known for being a really good person? Is like kind of like either or.
Yeah, his opinions on things were weird because he believed in a lot of empathy for people, but at the same time, he also believed that by taking the coldness of nature out of people, it ruined them.
Which I had never heard about that until
It
today.
was just a opinion on things and like
Yeah,
on
he has
society.
a lot
Lord
of people
forbid if you have an opinion.
a lot of
Yeah.
people have different opinions about him.
Yeah, Yeah, some people hate him, some people love him, some people think that he should be credited for a lot more than he was.
Some people think that he shouldn't be credited for a lot of things that he did.
But yeah. So our main thing is we're gonna be just kind of going over, or actually just going over the transcript of what they're in an interview, basically.
Weren't you guys going to give a brief overview of
Yes, that's
first?
what I'm going to do first, is I'm going to just give everyone a brief thing from the good old Illuminati wiki.
I think there's an actual Illuminati wiki.
Unofficial, not official, not related Illuminati wiki. Everything is Illuminati.
Yes. And no? Because Illuminati?
Right.
I guess?
Yeah.
Now
shoot
would
me.
have been good
Anyway.
time for the
All right.
soundbite.
Well, you won't let me push the buttons.
But we don't have the right soundbite. We need the X-Files soundbite.
Would that get us copyrighted?
I think it's short enough, and it's been used enough.
Okay, good. Fair
It's kind of.
I'm getting it.
It's a thing. I think.
I
that's
have
long
36
enough.
slots I can push, and I need to fill them all so I can do everything.
All right, so just going over a brief thing. Nikola Tesla was born and raised in the Austrian Empire, and Tesla studied engineering and physics in the 1870s without receiving a degree. Take that, engineering doctorate. He gained practical experience in the early 1880s working in telephony and at Continental Edison in the new electric power industry. In 1884, he immigrated to the United States, where he became a naturalized citizen, and he worked for a short time at the Edison Machine Works in New York City before he struck out on his own.
So, Edison is the one that created electricity?
I don't know if the Continental Edison
The light bulb.
company...
The light bulb.
Edison came up with the first
A light bulb.
light
right?
bulb.
I don't know
So-
if Edison Continental was any connection to that.
Yes.
Was it?
I believe Edison Continental was one of Edison's team, because what he would do is he'd take a lot of inventors and kind of...
Well, it
Take
says
'em-
right here on the wiki that the Continental Edison is the new electric power industry.
Yeah, he wanted to further DC power, where Nikola Tesla wanted to use AC power.
Alternating.
He wanted to
current.
use Wi-Fi power.
Well, eventually, yeah, he just wanted to use everything.
But yeah, Tesla worked for the Edison Machine Works in New York City before he struck out on his own. And with the help of partners to finance and market his ideas, Tesla set up laboratories and companies in New York to develop a range of electrical and mechanical devices. Like, one well-known one is the Tesla Coil, which is just basically a giant lightning coil that shoots electricity.
I found out, though, that he might not have been the one that invented the Tesla coil.
I think...
Because
Well-
there's actually... He's the one that patented it.
Yeah. It was kind of the same thing. He would have inventors work alongside him.
He'd patent a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't he have had like a full staff?
Yeah,
Like,
I
there's
mean,
no
he
way
had-
he could have invented the stuff he did without a
He had
like a
full
staff.
facilities and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
He's literally like the Tony Stark of
Electricity.
actual world.
There is actually one story of him making a device in, I want to say it was one of his apartments in New York, that actually caused an earthquake.
Oh yeah, the earthquake machine.
Yeah.
I remember that story.
A friend actually had to go to his room to have him turn it off.
Nice.
Let's see. Where did I leave off? All right. With the help of partners to finance and market his ideas, Tesla set up laboratories and companies in New York to develop a range of electrical and mechanical devices. I already read over that part. His alternating current, or AC, induction motor and related polyphase AC patents licensed in Westinghouse Electric in 1888 earned him a considerable amount of money, and became the cornerstone of the polyphase system, which the company eventually marketed.
Yeah, that's kind of what led to our nowadays power grid.
Well, isn't polyphase what is the multi-stage motors that
I'm not
most
quite
magnetic
sure.
motors are based off of?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure on that.
I don't know what the polyphase is talking about there.
Are you talking where it's like a magnet on a rod with grooves that gets repelled?
Yeah.
That's the
I am
induction.
trying to hit the...
That's the induction part of the motor, I believe.
I should know this
Polyphase.
because I had someone that tried to teach me this. Sorry, folks, we are looking at
Yeah,
the polyphase.
Oh, okay. So
It is multi-phase.
yeah, it just keeps the current the same because what alternating current is, it kind of go forwards and back, and like down step and up step,
Yep. So a lot of motors use 3-phase AC power.
just to keep each step kind of consistent.
Or as we hear a lot of times, stroke.
Yeah.
Systems.
Yeah.
All right. So, attempting to develop inventions he could patent and market, Tesla conducted a range of experiments with mechanical oscillators and generators, electrical discharge tubes, and early X-ray imaging. Funny little thing, it actually doesn't mention it in here. One of the things he discovered with X-rays was being able to see like skeletal and stuff, and the person that it happened to being the kind of not surprising, it was Mark Twain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember you
One
telling
of
me
the
about
most eccentric people ever, and of course it would happen to him.
this. Right?
Um,
Mark Twain didn't die of, like, radiation poisoning, did he?
I hope
I
not.
don't know. I think Mark Twain just walked off and was like, "This world's not interesting anymore."
I'm gonna go take LSD and go somewhere else.
He also built a wireless controlled boat.
Which I did not know that he did that.
That is awesome considering this is the end of the 1800s. Or
Yeah.
It's in the 1900s.
This was probably early 1900s,
Well, he died at 19...
43, I
Yeah.
believe.
Which the wireless controlled boat was one of the
Yeah,
first ever exhibited. Tesla became well known as an inventor and demonstrated his achievement to celebrities and wealthy patrons at his lab, and was noted for his showmanship at public lectures. Throughout the 1890s, Tesla pursued his ideas for wireless lighting and worldwide wireless electric power distribution in his high voltage, high frequency power experiments in New York City and Colorado Springs.
Which would have been awesome if he actually brought that to what he wanted.
Well, Colorado Springs for this is actually going to be kind of the center point of our
Yes.
little thing. Let's see, where did we leave off? Colorado Springs. In 1893, he made pronouncements on the possibility of wireless communication with his devices. Tesla tried to put his ideas to practical use in his unfinished Wardenclyffe Tower project, which was a intercontinental wireless communication and power transmitter. But he quickly ran out of funding before he could complete it.
Yeah, no one really believed that he could actually make a wireless electrical grid.
Classic thing of, oh, electricity will never catch on. Candlelight's the only way to go.
Well, also at that time, a lot of people believed that power could only go, well, one way.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people... at this time, too, there was a lot of things where they're, like, pushing, electricity will kill us all.
I've
Yeah.
actually heard news of like certain people looking back into like his plans for the wireless communication and power grid,
There is actually a company that does wireless power.
like on wide scale.
Well, not wide scale, but they have a device that you can install that will do wireless power.
Like household size.
Room, kind
Room?
of just like room.
Okay.
It's very low voltage from what I understand.
Yeah.
I read on it. I read about it a little bit and then like watched one video about it. Like it's very early technology.
Yeah. What Tesla wanted to do was what was he building in that? The Winden.
The Wardenclyffe Tower?
Yeah, the Wardenclyffe Tower was basically a giant Tesla tower, and they'd put up one every so many miles, and basically what it would do is it would just expel electricity, and it just turn the Earth itself into a transmitter. So no matter where you were, you had power.
That's cool.
Imagine the health complications that would come with that.
Right.
Power and wireless communication.
I think also at that point, birds would cease to be a thing.
Well, it was...
I don't know. I feel like it would be more through like a static system.
Yeah, it would be like static electricity.
Yeah.
You know that still wouldn't work really well for a lot of electronics, especially our wireless ones nowadays.
Well, everything would have to have been formatted in a different way.
Everything would have to be grounded.
Everything would have to have like a certain kind of receiver.
Or
because the Earth itself would be the ground.
Oh.
So like
I feel like that's a lot of people dying.
I feel like that system would mean like your phone would get power basically drawing it through you using you as the grounding rod.
So would we all be barefoot then?
Maybe.
Maybe
I'm
shoes would
actually-
probably be different.
Or like metal plated shoes?
I don't know.
I don't remember the specifics, but it was
might be
very cool for the idea he had.
It might be also to that case of it's like it's just the right voltage that just your magnetic field probably would do
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
But just to kind of finish this up, after the Wardenclyffe, Tesla experimented with a series of inventions in the 1910s and 1920s with varying degrees of success. Having spent most of his money, Tesla lived in a series of New York hotels, leaving behind unpaid bills, and he died in New York City in January 1943. Tesla's work fell into relative obscurity following his death until 1960, when the General Conference of Weight and Measures named the SI unit of magnetic flux density the Tesla in his honor. There has been recently, of course, nowadays, with information at our fingertips, resurgency in popularity in him, and as well as it had seen where it was like shortly after the 60s was interest in him again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nowadays you have companies like, well,
Tesla.
that have
His name.
taken his name and kind of not his entire vision, but parts of his vision and kind of went off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, Elon Musk has said that Tesla, of course, is one of the biggest inspirations for a lot of what he does.
Because Tesla was just a inventor through and through. He came up with hundreds of patents of ideas. He came up with a one-way valve, like fluid valve,
Interesting.
That's cool.
that did not like take any outside forces or anything. It was just how the pipe
Basically,
was
a
formed.
liquid passed one way, opened the valve, and then shut
Yeah.
back up.
So when it shut, it was just a open valve end to end. But what it would do was the fluid would go through one way, but if it tried coming back through the other way, it actually go into little slits that would run back into itself. So just stopping the flow.
Like, it's all designed to, like, the
So like
friction.
it could freely
resistance.
pass one way, but the other way it'd start giving itself
so like
friction.
you see in like some sinks that have the overflow ports,
Kind of, yeah.
because that's what the idea of that is they flow into that and then they backflow back into the drain.
Yeah, to stop the flow of new water. Is what
Interesting.
this was.
So to get back on the topic, why are we talking about Nikola Tesla? Because obviously he's a very cool guy. He did a lot of amazing things and a lot of very sci-fi-esque things, but
Did you say sci-fi?
yes.
Well, I think he said he had an encounter with aliens.
Well,
Isn't that convenient? That's what I was trying to go on to.
I know.
once again the segue. Jake
It's
is
seamless.
just putting along with it, and just Jordan comes flying out of
Jordan
nowhere.
hops on, takes the wheel. We just run straight into the cliff.
Like
just-
a YouTube ad.
Just like GTA, he hops on. This is a hijacking.
Punches me, and then just like, what was it?
Putts off with it.
Front kicks me right off.
But yes. So the key thing for this is a very little obscure thing. Is he was doing a test of electrical frequencies.
He was working on the Wardenclyffe,
Yeah.
I think.
No, he was working on a
The weather
the
tester thing.
yeah, a weather tester when he started picking up these weird rhythmic patterns.
Through the radio, I believe.
I don't remember. We'll see here once I have the document. But it was just the way that these patterns were, and you have to keep in mind this is before, like, right before long-range transmission radios
And widespread use.
Yeah. The telegraph was still a thing. Short-range phones that were basically town to town, or maybe one line.
I don't think
across.
phones were really up at that time, even. It was very early on.
They were early on, I believe, at this point. But there wasn't a lot to cause interference in this case. Where nowadays we'd say, yeah, we picked up a blip. Well, yeah, it's because there's a radio satellite floating around. There's about 10 of them floating around.
There's space junk.
Yeah, space junk, whatever.
Or Susan three stories down or 3 stories up was listening to a soap opera.
Yeah, and your equipment picked it up.
Yeah.
There wasn't as much static interference with everything. And these patterns were just rhythmic, and he believed that they were just too organized, too deliberate to be
Nonsense.
It wasn't just something of nature.
Right. That makes sense.
To keep in mind, too, at this point, this was still at the point where we thought that there were people living on other planets.
Humans.
Well, I mean, there were...
I was hearing people saying humans on other planets.
Humans on other planets. Those ideas kind of got really popularized, I guess, by people like H.G. Wells, who authored War of the Worlds.
Yeah, he did the
play
of War of the Worlds.
They were going off from the idea of...
I think H.G. Wells happened
theories.
a little bit later on.
There was authors like that.
Yeah.
No, H.G. Wells was pretty old.
Well, am I thinking the right person? H.G. Wells is the dude that did the radio play, not the one that wrote War of the Worlds.
I don't remember.
Here, I'll look that up.
But you also had things like Princess of Mars, stuff like that.
Yeah, you had other science fiction.
Old things, but they were pulling from theories.
Well, sci-fi was actually a very big thing in pulp fiction.
Yeah, this was the era of pulp fiction stories,
Yeah.
the Dimeback novels, basically.
This isn't like even too far before like World War II, where we were talking about like the Foo Fighters and stuff.
Yeah. So pulling up my article, and just kind of reading through this because this is a transcript with just a little bit of a description here. The Nikola Tesla championed the AC system and improved remains global standard for power of transmission. He demonstrated wireless radio communications 2 years before Marconi, and is believed to be the first person to produce an X-ray image, like we were talking about earlier. This image was the result of a botched attempt to photograph Mark Twain.
Wait a second. So he was just trying to take a picture of Mark Twain?
He's just trying to take a picture
He was
of
like,
Mark Twain.
oh, I didn't get your face. I got your freaking skull.
Ooh, hey, you got something on your skull.
Yeah, but it's just like I said, would then not figure it would be Mark Twain that would happen to. Well, Tesla.
Who else would it happen to, though? Like, realistically.
I don't know. Mark Twain was the same person that wrote stories about like places in Africa and stuff before he ever went there,
That's true.
like accurately got them.
Right.
I mean, that love him or hate him, the guy was a crazy genius in his own right.
Yeah.
Literary.
Quick thing here, just to correct myself. It was H.G. Wells that wrote War of the Worlds. I got him mixed up with Orson Welles, which did the radio play.
Okay. Hey, Wells, though.
Yeah, see, I get them mixed up.
That would be interesting to see if they were related.
Thought Orson Welles made 18...
No, he...
Or 1942.
He did the audio dramas on radio.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's the one that did War of the Worlds.
And then H.G. Wells
Screenplay.
just wrote the book?
Yeah, H.G.
Oh.
Wells wrote War of the Worlds.
Who made 1942?
I'll be
I
back.
think that might have been
1982.
H.G. Wells as well.
What was that book called?
1942?
No, 1982.
1982. The dystopian future book.
Anyways,
Who was that? I thought it was...
while Tesla's scientific discoveries are among the greatest of his generation, the myths surrounding him have turned out into a cult-like figure. So we're just gonna hop straight to the transcript, and this was a interview. Let's see, in 1899 with the Red Cross, because apparently Red Cross used to do articles.
Guess they're a journalist or something. I don't know.
I guess that's interesting to me. That it's like
Yeah.
what used to be that's now a medical help group.
Right.
Did that as well. So there's a transcript to the American Red Cross in New York City. The retrospect is glorious, the prospect is interesting. Much might be said of both, but one idea dominates my mind. This, my best, my dearest, is for your noble cause. I have observed electrical actions which have appeared inexplicable. Faint and uncertain though they were, they have given me a deep conviction and foreknowledge that are... Sorry, guys.
Older speak.
This is old speak.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the old speak of the ancients. Have given me deep conviction and foreknowledge that the ere long all human beings on this globe as one. Will turn their eyes to the firmament above with feelings of love and reverence, thrilled by glad news. Brethren, we have a message from another world unknown and remote. It reads 1, 2, 3. Alright. Then he goes on to say, most certainly some planets are not inhabited, but others are, and among these... I goofed on that. And among these there must exist life under all conditions and phases of development. Personally, I base my faith on the feeble planetary electrical disturbances which I have discovered in the summer of 1899, and which according to my investigations could not have originated from the sun, moon, or Venus. Further study, science has satisfied me with that they must have emanated from Mars. All doubt in this regard will soon be dispelled. He sounded pretty confident in the fact of he was going to go back and investigate this more.
He was a fairly confident man.
I did not look further beyond this really, but I do believe he did pursue further on trying to find more frequencies and more signals.
Well, from the research I was hearing from, it sounded like he either got obsessed with it or people claim he got obsessed with it.
I think it might have been probably a healthy mix of both, honestly.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because people didn't... I don't know, where nowadays we have people that are either just aliens exist or aliens don't exist.
Right.
Back then, because we didn't know that much about stuff, I mean, we really don't know that much now, but back then...
They were like, aliens exist.
Yeah, aliens exist. There's no way we could have a galaxy this big without having life on some planet.
We can't be the only people out here.
But the fact of it was these were too organized of a pattern to be random, or at least in Nikola's mind, they couldn't.
It was a pattern of 3, which is kind of the universal survival thing, that 3 is man-made.
Yeah, testing, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, or like SOS. It's 3 digits. Most of the time, you won't find like 3 circular rocks in a row naturally. Like, it could be a fluke if you found 2 next to each other, so like a search team might just like overlook that. But if you see 1 circular rock, another one, and another one, you're like,
it heightens the odds.
Someone did that.
Yeah, it heightens the odds of the more you interject of amount of something organized, the more deliberate, more purposeful it becomes.
Right.
So yeah, that was just an interesting little thing that I thought folks might enjoy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
You can look into it more because Edison thought he might have discovered some signals. Marconi.
Yep.
A lot of these inventors.
Marconi was the other person that said, I heard stuff over the radio that I thought was aliens.
Yeah.
And Edison agreed with him that he did.
Yeah, and Marconi was the guy that made the long-range radio, so he would have, out of anyone, no interference.
Right. Well, no, that was definitely interesting. It'd be cool to maybe look into it a little bit more.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I mean, I hope folks do look into it more. Personally, myself, just going over this, I would love to be able to do just an episode on just eccentric inventors of history.
It'd just be cool to do a full episode on Nikola Tesla.
Yeah,
because he's done a lot.
Yeah, And it's just like some of there's a lot of conspiracies around it.
Right.
For Pete's sake, people say after he died that there was a box in his apartment labeled Death Ray.
Yeah.
And nothing was in it after the CIA went through the place.
Yeah, so it's like there's so many cool, interesting little things. And I imagine I'm going to look more into it because now this has become a new interest to me. I'm going to look and see what other like conspiracies there are around like all these different inventors and stuff.
That'd be cool.
And hopefully share them.
Yeah.
Unless like secret organization silences me.
Men in Black.
The Illuminati.
Illuminati. We blame everything on Illuminati.
Heck yeah.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, I think that's about break time. So we're going to jump into our ad break, and then we'll be right back with, well, random stuff, I guess.
We'll see you in 12 to 10 hours. Good
All
night.
right. See ya.
Goodbye.
And we're back.
Hello.
Why'd you wake me up?
Wake me up when September ends.
Wake me
Actually, I
up.
was listening to that song on the way here.
Really?
Wait, was it Wake Me When November Comes or something like that? It's a Gorillaz song.
Wait.
There's
did
a
I
lot of
quote the wrong
songs
song?
with the lyric line, "Wake me up before ya."
I think I just butchered a song and added like lyrics.
Because there's
I don't
"Wake
know,
me
it's
up
late.
before you
It's
I
go
see the
go."
man outside your house with the copyright stick.
No, go to Joe Rogan's house.
Dang. Oh, my legs.
Oh, well, anyways, it's been a long night, so why don't we kick back and talk about some fun stuff?
Sleep.
So, what do you guys find fun?
Sleep.
Sleep is great.
Well, I just spent half an hour telling you what I thought was fun.
Apparently, Nikola Tesla electrocuting himself.
Yes.
He
Nice.
was a great man.
He was a great man. Until the light bulb got him.
No, he got the light bulb.
Just going along, just light bulb on. I was yeah.
Ow. All right, so you guys do anything fun for this week? Or this 2 weeks that we've been off?
Maybe.
Got back in a Fortnite to play with friends, and now because my internet can actually handle it, I'm actually pretty good.
I've been playing Fortnite because all my friends have been forcing me to. Help.
Okay.
It's because you just walk into a match and there's like 5 people and they're just dead.
Jordan and me were really good when we first started playing Fortnite.
I thought I was really bad. It turns out it was just my internet.
Yeah, well, you would freeze, and then we'd leave you halfway across the map, and you'd unfreeze.
Yeah, now my internet's like, you have no
Where'd you
signal,
go?
but you're still going and killing people.
Right. So how's Fortnite been? Has it?
It's okay.
Because I hear most gamers, I use air quotes, gamers, hate it.
I actually enjoy it a lot better now because you don't have to build if you don't want to. And people don't turn into freaking castles now if you shoot at them.
But occasionally you will run back into those people.
Oh, yeah,
and it's
like
horrendous.
a friend of ours, I was playing with him, and he had 2 life left against 4 people. And he, like, I was getting motion sick watching him because he's just like, build, and we won the match because of him.
Dang.
Who was that?
Val.
Val? Okay, nice.
Like, he is
Dang.
really good at building in that game.
I don't know if I played with him much back in the
Yeah,
early days.
I think we did play a couple games, but he wasn't good back then.
He's really good.
Wasn't good, or was it he just couldn't play that much? Because he worked a lot more back then than he does
It
now.
was more, he worked a lot more.
Yeah.
But he's fun to play with.
Yeah.
It was also very early on in Fortnite's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People had
I guess
just
if
figured
you-
out how to build.
If you want to play the game a little bit more relaxed now, you can do it.
They also kind of turned it into where there's a lot of other... You can make your own game in Fortnite to play. Because a couple weeks back, I played Murder Mystery with a bunch of friends.
Yeah. See,
it.
to me, that's cool. You can make custom stuff.
Yeah.
I also liked, too, because now the game doesn't feel so empty, you can get bounties on other players. So like, it'll give you an incentive to go after other people rather than just hiding all the time.
You know what that sounds like? Kill Leader from Apex Legends.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it
I'm
kinda does.
assuming all these games copy each other. There's actually hazards. In
No,
the game.
Apex Legends didn't have the kill leader.
Yeah.
That's kind of more or less. There was no benefit for doing it, and also the bounties in Fortnite actually told you the general area where they're at.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Where the kill leader in Apex was just who killed the most people at that moment
Oh,
in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like it gives you incentive to actually be a little bit more aggressive.
That's cool.
And like there's gold and stuff that you earn. So like in the game you can use it at the vending machines, or there's certain NPCs now you can like trade weapons with and stuff.
Oh, okay.
There's also
That gold also transfers out of each match too. So if
Yeah.
you like stockpile in a match and you don't spend any of it, it'll go to your next
yeah.
match.
Like as far as I know, I was maxed out.
So
on
it sounds
gold.
like they turned it more into a
MMO.
social gathering game.
Yeah, it definitely
Kinda.
feels like that now.
Like a weird, more violent version of VR chat.
kind of. There's NPCs to fight too now. And
To fight.
a lot of them
Yes.
are, if they hit you, seem to pack more of a punch than the players do.
Huh.
It's a
Interesting.
very different game than the last time you played.
Right.
I like it better personally. Like there's vehicles in it now.
Yeah.
Like you can hop in the car.
Almost
and
every
stuff.
vehicle you see, you can drive.
Oh, that's cool.
If it doesn't have a police boot on it,
A police boot.
like the
The,
I know
Car
what you're talking
boots,
about.
yeah.
Yeah. The yellow
I don't know.
plates things.
I think it's fun. But that's just me.
Nice.
I really used to hate the game in the early days.
That's funny because now I dislike the game, and I used to like it in the early days.
I don't know. I just gave it another try. I want to
Yeah.
get back into Apex too. I'm not sure if I can with my internet or not.
it should be fine.
I mean, if I can play Fortnite, I should be able to play that.
Yeah.
yeah.
My internet's weird because now it's like I can play online games, no problem. One little blip when you're on a web page and you're going to be refreshing 3 times.
That's weird.
It's really weird because it's like it makes you think that it's like, oh, the internet's down. Then you hop on a game, it's like, huh, I don't lag.
See, to me, internet has always been like black magic, where
It
I
makes no
can-
sense.
yeah, I can troubleshoot and diagnose computers, smartphones, tablets, like basically anything, and at least get an idea what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Internet, as soon as it goes down, unless it directly tells me what's going on, I have not a clue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
I
when that
have had
happened.
so many go arounds with like internet and stuff. I hate it.
Well, like some of the bounce arounds that you've told me that you've had to do just to get signal to your house
yeah.
would make any city person, their head probably explode.
Oh, I
because
made
they're
our-
so used to just going into a building and having free Wi-Fi almost.
I pretty sure I made the technician for the internet provider because they actually will go out to your place
Yeah.
to set up stuff because we have a new setup, like a point to point.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't know how this by all logic should not work, but it works.
That's why you couldn't play games.
It was, but it's like at the same time I had no problem like browsing or it. Now I
Mm-hmm.
have the opposite because I get like signal hiccups.
Right.
Where like video games will just reconnect as soon as possible.
Because it's constantly trying to draw new data
Right,
in.
where-
Where like if you load a web page, it'll get all the data, then display it. It's
Yeah.
not drawing constantly.
Yep.
And that's why, like, one day when I was playing Fortnite with you, I had this long stretch of what it said I had no signal, and I was going along just fine.
Ah,
Yeah, I don't know. Just
we call that rubber banding.
Yeah.
I didn't rubber band either.
You didn't?
No, I just kept I eliminated a person in that stint.
Huh. You just, weird.
Unless I was just like an invisible force to the person.
well, I have seen rubber banding in games, like seeing somebody getting rubber band, and usually it just looks like glitching.
Yeah.
Like somebody's just kind of like 1 minute they're standing there, next minute they're standing
On
20
you.
feet behind them or forwards or
Where they were 20
On
feet
my,
ago.
on
Yeah.
my side, there's no rubber banding. I don't see it.
Right.
So if I don't see it, I'm having fun.
Normally,
I
I'm the
don't
one.
see it don't exist.
Normally, I'm the one experiencing the rubber band because my internet will sometimes just like to not work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that too is just overload. There's too
Yeah.
many people all at once. I think on the.
I have had that, especially since I moved to Xfinity, because there's like high traffic zones,
Mm-hmm.
and with our old internet provider, my old internet provider
At the old place,
at my place I used to live,
which is mine.
yeah, which is my parents' house. There would be high traffic zones, but since it was such a low use provider, like it wasn't a very popular provider, it wasn't nearly as bad as Xfinity.
Right.
Where
and
like
that-
if I try doing internet research at say like 6:00, my internet's actually pretty slow.
you're right, because everyone at work, everyone at school.
Right,
It's on
everybody's
low.
getting off and starting up, watching videos, doing stuff, cooking dinner, and playing music and crap like that.
Yep. That's kind of how ours is too, because we're with a local provider. Not to that extent. Once in a while, holidays are horrible.
Yes.
I
but-
think for most internet companies, holidays are just horrendous.
Yeah, but with this, it's more and more people will subscribe, and then they wait until they absolutely have to update their towers.
Right.
So it's like where my girlfriend works. They actually all summer last year were just dead zoned because there was too many people overall, and they didn't want to update their system until the end of the year,
Wow, that's
Dang.
just wrong.
which affected us too until we got everything set back up.
Right.
Huh. Yeah, internet. It's the devil's whacking stick.
It's the devil's magic.
Yeah,
It's gonna cause cancer.
It's
and
just weird.
I can't think of anything else. I'm too tired. I was trying to think of a bit, but it wasn't coming to me.
So you do anything fun? Interesting?
What did I do this week? You know what? Honestly, this week I didn't do anything fun. Last week, I guess I can draw back on the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the new air quotes animated series from Netflix, Arcane.
Oh, okay.
That's really cool.
I finished last Wednesday the Book of Boba Fett.
Wait,
You caught
it's
up?
done?
Mhm.
Oh,
Wait,
I haven't
is-
watched the latest episode then.
As far as I know, it's done.
Oh, okay. So they ended on what was it, episode 6?
Something like that. yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I haven't been keeping up with Book of Boba Fett at all.
I don't know. I'm liking it so far. The one I watched was where they had the high noon shoot off. I'm trying not to spoil it since it's so new. The high noon shoot off in the little village
Oh, okay, yeah.
with
yeah.
the certain characters.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for the
See-
rest of this episode, we might say something.
I no, that's all I'm gonna say. That's where I left off.
I'm just
so.
saying for anything.
I had seen online the show apparently got a lot of crap, but it's like I feel like at this point now people are expecting too much out of shows and just not sitting down and enjoying a show.
Yeah,
I could see
definitely
that.
feel that with like a
Because-
lot of movies and shows.
Well, like this, I could see a lot of reference to old Western movies like Dances with Wolves, Magnificent Seven, things like that. And it's like that's kind of what made it cool.
Yeah.
Was all of that stuff of seeing things like that.
Well, back then the surprise factor was way bigger for movies, TV shows, stuff like that, because people would actually invent things for movies.
People invent
do
things,
tropes,
but they also
do everything.
They went and just people went to movies to have fun. They
Oh,
didn't-
yeah, that too.
They didn't look at it to be like, I'm gonna get them for this.
Not everyone was a critic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, with the invention of the internet and especially the invention of social media, everybody's a critic. Everybody has a voice, and well, to dig on us a little bit, everybody has a podcast.
Yeah,
So,
Whoop-de-doo.
yeah, whoop-de-doo.
but you know, it's like, well, it's even like reviews. I guess not even. I don't know what you call. No one even just is like, so I'm just gonna give a rundown of the movie to see if it's something you like. Yes, I know I need to shove the mic in my mouth.
Yes.
Or you could just move
This
the
new-
mic towards
this
your
new-
mouth.
You know me. I will touch that, and this entire table will collapse into the Pacific Ocean.
The quote Rick and Morty, shove it way up there, Morty.
But it's like no one does reviews anymore of just here's some features of the movie. You might like it. Here's it's a little schlocky, it's fun or whatever. No, it's that's terrible because it does this.
Yeah. I was watching it was called a review, like a review where they rewatched a old movie. And they talked about it, and they watched the original Total Recall with
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I almost said Stallone. Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the trailer for that, they showed the old trailer for it, the old preview, and like that compared to nowadays, that trailer made me want to watch the movie all over again.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing back then, was like, hey, here's this cool they focused on the cool factor of it. What at the time would be considered cool.
Yep.
And now it's like I don't mean to go into like movie tirades or anything with this. It's just now we want everything so gritty, so realistic that we can't just have fun.
Not only that, but I feel like so many people want more intellectuality out of their TV shows and their movies to the point where they're so bogged down with references and theological like intrigue into something that there's no actual substance.
Yeah. Right.
Everything has to be a subversion of something else in a movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh yeah, that character did that. Well, in psychology, that means he's actually like thinking this and feeling that and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not like something like Die Hard where it's like, guy's a cop. He gets stuck in a building with a bunch of terrorists, so he does what he can to help the hostages.
See, this is why we need a bleep button, because I wanted to say his saying, but I can't.
Yippee-ki-yay, beep.
Yeah.
But, it's things like that. It's simple, it's fun.
Yes.
I mean, it's fairly serious, but then they also kind of subvert it with some humor and stuff. It's made to be enjoyable.
Yeah. And I think the last movie I watched where I could just shut like my brain off and actually enjoy it was maybe dang, that was a long time ago. I can't remember even. Maybe the last Terminator movie, but that's just so bad.
Honestly, like
there's nothing to it.
I shut my brain off with all these movies that try to be super smart because it's like,
Yeah.
It's boring to me, honestly.
Yeah, I can see that. Like I watched what was a movie I watched recently? What's it called? The one with Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt?
The one with the aliens and stuff.
And they're traveling into the future.
The Amazon one.
Yeah, what do they call that? Future...
Tomorrow War or something.
Tomorrow War.
It was Tomorrow War, yeah.
Yeah, and they try being smart in that. And yeah, there's some cool like time travel things in there and kind of like some sciencey stuff, but it turned out being more just like a thriller action thing.
Yeah.
More than anything. And that was cool.
Yeah.
Like I liked how they took a deep subject like time travel and stuff and
simplified
it enough where you can actually turn your brain off and watch it.
Yeah. See, I feel like the deep intellectual stuff, the place for that is in obviously a drama. Drama's a lot of time. If you're let's say you're doing a court movie. I personally hate court movies, but it has to be so complicated and interwoven for the story to work. You have to have horror movies. I mean, unless like it's a slasher or a monster movie, a lot of times. If it's like psychological horror, it has to be deep.
Yes.
Like I watched a movie just recently, I think it's called Room 1308 or something.
Oh, the one with, is it Samuel L. Jackson?
Samuel L. Jackson's in it just a little bit. But if you just watch the movie for face value, it's just constant nonstop sequence and it gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
Well, with that kind of movie, it actually had like a very complex layer of, it's like you have to stop and wonder, is this guy in a haunted place? Is he in hell?
Is he just going psychotic?
Is he going psychotic? Yeah. Because it just the way everything portrays itself, that's meant to be complicated. It's supposed to look simple.
Yep.
because a horror movie is meant to be when you walk away, you want to rip it apart and figure it out. It's the horror of the unknown.
Yeah.
But an action movie does not need to have a deep plot.
Right.
It doesn't need to be, oh, this issue and this. It's, no, there's a bad guy and this guy is going to deal with it with his fist.
His face. He's literally going to use his face.
Yeah. I like the John Wick movies. They had an intricate plot, but it was just basically assassin deals with.
That was one of the more recent movies I watched was Nobody.
I want to see that.
Oh, that action
Oh
movie?
my gosh, it's good.
Give me the kitty cat bracelet.
Because there isn't really nothing deep in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just good.
You know, I know a good movie. I just watched it. It's called Honest Thief. It is really, really good. It's actiony, but not to the point where the character's like, I kill everything to figure out my problems.
Right.
But you have to check it out. It's good. It's a
I will.
thriller. But yeah, it's really good. But yeah, I don't agree with the always everything has to be super deep intellectual.
Right.
Yeah.
2001 Space Odyssey, where it's just a drool fest because you just go to sleep.
You know what was a really good movie where you could turn your brain off and just enjoy it?
Big Trouble in Little China.
Well, no, but like a new one that just came out. The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Have you watched that one?
that was
No,
a
I
good
want to. I've seen the first one that came out.
Okay.
And
The first one they try way too hard.
yeah.
Like
I
the
liked the first one.
I did too. I thought it was
You
decent.
want to know what the
but
problem with the first one was?
They cut it all the crap.
They put out the trailer for it.
Yeah.
They actually had a different studio do the trailer than the studio that was
So
originally
what,
going to do the
consistent?
movie.
Really?
The trailer did really good for the movie, right?
Yeah.
So they had that studio that did the trailer do the cut for the movie.
Oh.
That's why
that's
now.
weird.
That's why now. One of the actors, I forget his name. It's the main actor, the one that played Deadshot.
Will Smith?
Will Smith was kind of calling for a Snyder cut
Yeah.
of Suicide Squad.
No, I heard that whole controversy, but like the second, I guess it's
second
like
one
a
was really
reboot
good.
second movie.
It wasn't a reboot. It was a continuation.
Is it a continuation? Okay, I wasn't sure. But it had a story that you could follow, and it actually was a decent story. But at the same time, it was simple enough where you could just turn your brain off and enjoy an action movie.
That's just the beauty of Suicide Squad.
Yes, it is. And it was cool too because it actually had like some good story arcs for the characters. Like it had moral dilemmas, it had funny bits, it actually had character development in it.
And that right there, you just hit it, is the thing that actually makes a simple show complex without having a complex theme.
Character
development.
Yes.
Exactly.
A lot of
Because these over complicated shows, I guess,
They developed the plot more than the actual main character.
the characters usually flat, dry, yuck.
yeah.
Well, it's like Antlers.
Yeah.
Like the characters had
Zero development.
like there was the whole like the brother and the sister trying to like figure out their past trauma development.
But we didn't know about it.
And
But there
nothing really
wasn't
happened with it.
Like they just didn't dive too deep into anything to develop anything. They just wanted to focus purely on the story.
But not the
That they
people.
lost the story.
That they actually, that's a
Right.
good way of putting it. They lost the story.
A good one I watched that I was really surprised with. I was going into expecting I wasn't going to like it. Was Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I want
I
to
have
watch
not
that.
seen that yet, but I hear it's okay.
I liked it because they did focus on story, but they got you to where you kind of like the characters a little bit more.
Yeah.
They explained it why they were doing it the way it was. Like one of the characters actually takes the time to investigate some things.
Okay.
And it doesn't... You know how a lot of shows, when they're the, I guess, continuations or reboots,
Yes.
focus too much on the key feature
Yep.
of the show? They don't do that. They kind of keep that same formula as the original Ghostbusters movies of, yes, there's ghosts, but we're not going to just bombard you with this constantly.
Okay.
It's about more the people that are
Yeah.
hunting the ghosts.
Yeah, yep.
Busting.
It's interesting. I liked it. Some people don't.
Yeah.
Other people...
I watched a review about it, and they were kind of complaining it's it felt more like a cash grab, where they were just rehashing the same plot points in a way, where they're like, we have to hit these notes to hit the nostalgia factor, and it kind of detoured from the story a little bit.
I feel like that argument's being overused a lot recently.
Yeah,
Well, if you notice, all the movies that are coming out are just newer movies from the old movies.
Yeah, but if you think about it, you can't really do a sequel without that, because if you make a sequel and it deters too far away, people complain.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. They have done sequels of all these movies.
Oh, yeah.
And done it without doing, hey, here's a nostalgia factor.
Yeah, but a lot of those sequels were saying, like back to back.
So let me just get this straight. Are you saying, Terry, that they were using the same nostalgia parts of Ghostbusters or the same formula of the story?
I think they're using more of the same formula, not so much the nostalgia. I've seen there was nostalgia stuff with
a lot of people are getting the two mistaken with each other. Because if you take a sequel, and you change the formula of the movie, it won't feel like that IP.
Yeah.
That's about as clear as I can explain it. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head.
Which one was it? One of the Halos where they just completely flipped the whole format of it on its head?
Yeah.
Oh, you talking the game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was Halo 5.
Was that?
Yeah, they added, like...
Which one was the
simple
one
things
where you played the Spartans?
That was 5.
Was that 5? Okay.
Yeah. They added things where you could sprint. Mm-hmm. Well, you could sprint...
In Halo 4.
Well, just
in 4 kind of...
Story-wise, even, I guess it didn't even feel
You know
like
what the things
Halo.
that people were the most mad about in that game? Looking down iron sights.
Oh my gosh, that makes me mad just hearing that.
Yeah, because Halo has always been
classic FPS.
hip fire.
Yeah,
and see,
or if you had a scope, your helmet turned into the scope.
Yeah,
like it was never.
It was a rangefinder.
It's never. I'm going to pull the gun closer and look down the iron sights.
And see, that's not nostalgia. That's just the trope of the game.
Yeah, and they changed the trope of it.
Yeah. I think what we're trying to say is people can get confused with them literally trying to say, hey, you remember this from the original movie? Hey, remember this from the original movie?
I guess with this movie, it was they kept the tropes.
Yep.
But made it its own thing.
Right. All I was saying is, I'm not saying that's what the movie was. All I'm saying is the review I watched said they felt like it was trying to hit more of the nostalgia trip than actually trying to make a new story within the Ghostbusters universe.
Yeah. I can see that with the reboot happening so long after the original movies.
Right.
And so you kind of have to
refresh
people's memory or like even tell newcomers to like the IP, like this is what the proto pack on your back is,
right?
And,
and
stuff
I think
like that.
That's kind of what this was, because we had the one remake before this that just completely tried to throw everything out, and this was basically, I think, telling people that were fans, I was like, hey, we're not getting rid of,
because if I remember right,
the stuff from the original movies.
It's one of the Ghostbusters kids that find the stuff.
Yeah, the tall guy that's the scientist. What's his name? Egon.
It's about his granddaughter.
Yeah, which it's kind of them discovering.
That tells you something all on its own. His granddaughter.
Yeah.
Not his
kid.
Direct descendant. His.
Which I liked that, because it was a way of kind of passing the torch without saying, hey, we're just going to throw everything out.
Yes, but I guess my point I was trying to make is like, I get that like the IP and stuff kind of died out for a while and stuff like that, and they did try to do in the reboot, and it failed. But like, it just seems like what point do you get where it's just like that movie is so old that it makes no sense in the world to do a third movie of it?
Yeah,
because this is Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah.
Yes, this is. This is Ghostbusters 3.
What they should have done, technically, I mean, as a fan of Ghostbusters, I would have liked to see this, is the fan base of it basically had as like, hey, they were so successful that they made different branches in different cities and things like that.
You know what's funny? The review I was watching was they're joking where it's like the daughter found that she actually gained the rights of the Ghostbusters and started like using it to market the new Ghostbusters. They were like, that would have made a much better movie than what it actually was.
I mean, yeah, that would have actually been a cool thing. I was like, holy crap, my dad ran this company.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring it back.
Yeah, exactly. Although they were kind of joking where she was like actually exploiting the kids and stuff like that.
Okay.
But,
or they could have done like cartoons, because like the old cartoons, they were all like in line with each other. Every time there was a new one, they were just a continuation off it.
right.
So it's like there was at one point a whole different crew that like Egon overseen, and you didn't see any of the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And it's like it would have been cool even to do something like that.
I could see that. They did make a whole studio called the Ghostbuster Corpse.
Mm-hmm.
Or Corp. And I guess they have in plans to make like a whole series,
I think is the fan,
whole mythos of it.
That's the fan group.
No,
I mean that's probably. I think that started out as that, and now they are.
No, as far as I know, the studio made this.
Oh, okay.
The studio made a sub studio to do
Make
Ghostbuster movies.
Okay.
Kind of like Lucasfilms is Disney's Star Wars.
Yeah. Yep.
Even though Lucasfilms should just be Star Wars, but whatever.
Star Wars, Indiana Jones, stuff like that.
Yes, but I was just saying Lucasfilms should just be Lucasfilms, not Disney.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but
Free Lucas.
I don't get an opinion because I'm not a billionaire.
I don't know. Personally, I liked the movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hate on it.
I know you were just saying.
I'm not actually hating on it until I watch it.
Yeah.
I was just saying the review I watched, they were saying it
Honestly,
kind of sounds like a cash
I find
grab.
it harder and harder to find a positive review about anything. It was like Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I just got done watching it, and it's like a guy already had a video on YouTube, and
You have to be careful of those people because if you literally watch the episode the day of, and then you look on YouTube and there's like 5 10-minute reviews, that person did not have time to think about the thing.
Yeah, no,
I didn't even watch the show when it was coming out, but I'd get on my phone just to look at like news updates through Google, and without a doubt, once a week there'd be a couple news articles why fans are hating on Book of Boba Fett for this specific reason.
That's why when I watch seasonal anime a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Seasonal anime, it comes out 4 different times a year with each quarter and stuff like that, each season. And all the internet sites for anime, they have weekly episode talks, discussions. And I always stay away from those because people are they freak out. They'll watch the movie, they'll watch the episode, they'll get all hyped up, or they'll have like a cliffhanger or something bad will happen. They get all hyped up and they'll just start ranting on the discussion forums.
Yeah.
They don't think about the episode at all. They literally watch it, click over to the other tab and start ranting.
Well, it's like, to me, it's like, if I'm going to review something, I want to highlight the fun points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, here's a plot hole, but it's fun, it's cool.
Right.
You know, it's like, I guess for a spoiler, it's like the Sarlacc pit scene in Book of Boba Fett. I guess it's a plot hole. It doesn't make sense why they did what they did. It was fun.
Are you talking the one where they point the ship at it?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean,
I don't know. That seemed very Boba Fett.
It did seem very Boba Fett.
And also, as far as he knew, his armor was actually in there. And he's just like, I'm going to get my armor.
I mean, if you think about it, even though like people are saying, oh, it's illogical you did this, it's like, how many of us go back to something, even if we know that it's not there, just to double check?
I will say, what's the assassin's name? Fennec Shan. I will say her hitting the button to drop the seismic charge, that was just pure nostalgia. They were just trying to hit the nostalgia thing from episode 2.
Oh, okay.
Where Slave 1 is tracking Obi-Wan to Geonosis. I think that's it. Yeah, to Geonosis. No.
Obi-Wan was tracking Boba Fett to Geonosis.
Yes, that's
not
what it
Boba
was.
Fett, Jango Fett to Geonosis.
Yeah, well, Boba and Jango Fett, because they're on the same ship.
With Star Wars, I'm not against doing nostalgia with stuff because a lot of times if you do it right, it gets especially fans hyped for it.
No, yeah, I enjoyed it. I was like, as soon as she hit the button and it zoomed out from the back of the ship and you saw the door
Yeah.
open, I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna do it. And like the sound design and stuff was cool with it. But in the back of my head, I was like, yeah, they're just trying to hit the nostalgia thing. And like you said, there was no reason for him to do it that way.
But
Like,
it was fun.
It was fun, and it was a cool. What, they wasted 5 minutes out of
Yeah.
a 45-minute episode on it or something.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, things like that make me like a show. If I watch something that is a direct off, and I don't at least see something that kind of relates a little
Yeah.
bit, I'm not gonna like it.
Right.
It's like obscure, I guess, Elder Scrolls games. If there isn't a reference to something either overarching in the whole lore that connects everything, it's not going to feel like an Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah, that's for sure.
If you don't find the Dark Brotherhood in one of the games, it doesn't feel right. You know, if that's like your thing to look for in the game or something.
Yeah, that's true. Like, there are things that there are points that you actually have to hit in a story, especially if it's a big thing for the lore. Like you said, the Dark Brotherhood in the Elder Scrolls games, where it doesn't feel right. The world's emptier
Without that.
without that.
Yeah, it's
that
like
makes
you
sense.
want to be an assassin. That's the way you've always played these video games. You need that.
Right.
Now, how they conduct them, that's a whole nother thing.
Now, it would be a different thing. It'd be a whole different matter where, like, you play Elder Scrolls 6, right? And there is... How am I going to explain this properly? For a video game wise.
There's Dark
There
Brotherhood,
is
but it's
Dark
obscure.
Brotherhood, but it's only, like, a reference of it.
Yeah.
But they, like, it's not optional to find it. It's just straight in your face where it's just like, remember the Dark Brotherhood?
Right.
That would be more like a hitting nostalgia factor without them doing any work for it.
Yeah.
Well, and the way... I guess we're going over to video games at this point. The way they made it work...
Sure, let's jump to another subject.
It's like this. Morrowind didn't have the Dark Brotherhood except for as an enemy. But they
Yeah.
explained it because they had them. You could be them in all the previous old games. But they explained it because there is another assassin faction in Morrowind
Right.
who is arch enemies to the Dark Brotherhood.
Right, and for the lore wise, it made more sense to be able to play as them than the Dark Brotherhood because the Dark Brotherhood wasn't even allowed on Morrowind.
Right.
Technically.
They were illegally there.
Yes.
So it's just things like that. It's like you have the reference, but it's changed up.
Right. Although it's kind of hard to say that with that game because Morrowind was technically like...
3 years before Oblivion.
And it was also like the third game in the series.
Yeah.
Where the first two games, like, they had lore and stuff, but they weren't nowhere near as fleshed out as Morrowind was. So...
Daggerfall actually was a lot deeper than a lot of
Was
people
it?
think. Yeah.
Okay.
It pretty much set the groundwork for the rest of the games.
I mean, I played 2 minutes of it. I walked into a tavern, walked into a door, made a lady mad.
And
She was
walked out.
topless, and she killed me. I was like, okay, not my Elder Scrolls game.
Just the thing of like that static sprite character. What's that green ball flying to? Oh, I'm dead.
Exactly. I don't know what I did to her. I think I walked into the wrong part of the tavern.
Well, if she was half naked, you might have walked in on her changing.
I'm pretty sure the AI wasn't smart enough to change. I do know in Daggerfall there's nudity.
There's a lot of nudity.
So I don't know.
It
to this day, I don't know what happened, and I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna go back to Skyrim.
I was done in the starting dungeon when it's like a rat just killed me 3 times.
See, that didn't bother me. I was like, okay, I gotta get good.
That game was so unbalanced. I was like a level 2, and then just like a level 20 monster popped up in a dungeon. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, I would definitely the leveling thing. That was a good thing that happened to newer games.
Yeah. But yeah, just if you do a nostalgia point, do it in a way that feels
Keep it
legit.
Keep it in line with the world that you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a perfect moment for the nostalgia point,
Yeah.
it works.
Just
Yeah.
don't shoehorn
If
it in.
it's you literally weaving the story through each point to just hit that nostalgia factor, just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like if you can see that the story was bent way off to the one direction just to hit the nostalgia factor when it really didn't need to, kind of like the Boba Fett thing with the Sarlacc pit, where it kind of just like rode that line of you really didn't need to, but at the same time it makes sense.
Yeah.
So he
Like-
blew up the Sarlacc?
Yeah, the Sarlacc's dead.
See, I can see exactly why he would do it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
for it not to be nostalgic at all.
It's more revenge.
I wasn't
He
saying
was-
him killing the Sarlacc was nostalgic. I was saying her specifically hitting the seismic charge, because the
Did
seismic.
they throw a seismic charge at it?
Well, what happened is the Sarlacc pit like grabbed the slave one, because what he did is he flew the slave one. He was looking down into the Sarlacc pit to find his armor, and then the Sarlacc pit woke up, grabbed the ship, and they're struggling to get it out, like get the grip away. And the assassin lady freaked out, hit the seismic button, the big red button that hit the seismic charge, and it popped out and it slid into the Sarlacc pit. The Sarlacc ate it, and then you heard the sound, and then he died.
yeah,
And
they could have did it in a little bit of better way of that.
I mean, pretty much the only other
I
option.
would have laughed my butt off if it would have been he successfully looked into its mouth and like didn't see it. So the next scene is literally just like a 2-minute clip of you see him back in the sky flying over it, just drop the seismic bomb and it just blows up.
See, that would have been
And
a better
then-
way of doing it.
And then Boba Fett just chuckles.
Yeah.
And you just see it
The one
like fly.
complaint
That would have been a really good way to do it, because like one of the weapons on the Slave One was the seismic charge,
And it would make
that dropped
sense
a
more.
bomb.
Yeah, it'd make more sense where he's like, oh, of course he's not just going to hit it with his blast. He's going to just drop the bomb in its
But with
mouth.
the one lady freaking out and kind of accidentally pressing the right button for the seismic charge,
Yes. That's what kind of felt.
that would be more or less like,
You know,
hey, look, seismic
my
charge.
complaint that people have of a complaint of the show is like the whole thing of, oh, he took over a crime syndicate, but he's too benevolent. It's like, it's because he's doing it more as he's using this group that he took over to be more of a guardian than a
Yes.
crime lord.
Yep. And
Because he was seeing the fact that it's like it was pointless to be a tyrant.
yep.
And it's like, why is that a bad character change?
Boba Fett has always kind of been a good character.
Yeah, he's always rode the line.
Yeah, I mean, if you go with the Legends, the expanded universe before the new Disney stuff, if you go into all of that, then he was very much kind of like an anti-hero turned hero. If you kind of go with the canon stuff, he's always been a man that's kind of going off to what he wants to do.
Yeah,
And the only time
Yeah.
you see him become more of an anti-hero is during The Mandalorian.
right.
So,
And also, so far, other than like the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, you've only really seen Boba Fett in the movies, and then I want to say the Clone Wars.
Clone Wars, and I think you see him.
Well,
I think he had a comic book line.
see,
yes.
I think
A
this
new
is the
comic
thing
book
people
line.
don't understand too. So Boba Fett had a terrible childhood.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
I don't know, and I do not
Yes, he
mean
did.
to sound, I guess, mean or rude in this. Not everyone that has a terrible life growing up becomes what has happened to them.
yeah.
A lot of people are like, nope, not doing that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, to me, what it was. It was like, it felt like it was a person who, he had all that crap happen to him in Clone Wars and stuff. He's been a bounty hunter all his life. And now he's just like, nope.
Exactly.
I just finally realized this is not for me.
Yep. Yep. Well, it's like there's people that grow up in like very disorganized houses, right? Their parents just could not keep anything organized whatsoever. So they grow up with the habit of everything has to be in its certain place.
Yeah. Yep.
Almost like forced OCD in a way.
Yeah.
Not forced, but
And then there's
Learned
people that are
OCD.
opposite, where it's like super strict, sterile, white.
and then
It's like,
their
the heck with
room
that.
looks like a tornado just ripped through it.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I get upset when people are like, oh, they had this happen. They have to be this way. It's
Yeah.
like a one-dimensional mold that people want.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't equate for character development.
Right.
Yeah, and see, I feel like during Mandalorian, Boba Fett kind of had that. The Tusken Raiders kind of did that to him too. I think that's another thing people don't take into account is that time changed him, and it was a
Right.
long time. It actually wasn't just a few days. It was, I think, years.
I think it was over a span of at least a couple years.
Yeah, because he had formed a bond with them. That was his family
Yes.
at that point.
Yep. All right. Well,
I think through this whole conversation, about 40-minute conversation, we figured out that what a lot of movies need to focus on is character development.
Yes.
dun dun dun.
But we need to pump the scripts out, sir.
That worked somehow. That was the producer smacking the guy like, no.
You are the producer.
What? No, I was talking like a movie producer, being like, no, character
I
development.
guess that's what it boils down to. Action movies, the character development was making an awesome character that you
Yes.
loved.
the
making
character
the hero.
development was equipping the action hero with more guns.
Oh, I got a grenade launcher.
Let's put it this way.
RPG
Just a quick
laser blast.
quick thing before we go. The original Judge Dredd, people hated it, whatever. But it had the hero's journey.
Yes.
It had Judge Dredd was the feared police officer of a futuristic city.
Right.
And then he is stripped of everything, cast out into a desert, fighting mutants and stuff, and making his way back home. There was an
Right.
adventure.
Yep.
And it made him kind of realize, hey, I don't also realize I don't have to be stone cold about everything because I have people trying to help me.
Exactly.
It's not, I've been stripped of my title, woe was me. It was, I'm going to kick butt.
Yep. It was him using what he already knew as his personality to go back towards what he wanted, but then at the same time, that journey changing him.
Yeah.
Instead of there having to be a big, long process of him fully changing before the story progressed.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
That also explained to me why I like Man of Steel so much right now,
Yeah.
the movie. Because that's kind of how they treat Superman in that.
There's more character development.
Yeah, there's a lot of character development for him.
Honestly, what made me not like it, this might sound weird, is just what felt like too long of a punch fest.
At the end.
Yeah. That just felt too long. to me.
Especially for the ending being where he literally just snapped the guy's neck.
Yeah.
It's just like half of Kansas destroyed for you just to go crack, pop, and done.
But that was actually the first person he killed.
Right.
I know.
That makes sense. It was just
How it-
the
yeah.
battle was
Overall,
too
in
long.
any
I get it that it was a long
it
punch
was like
fight for the way that it ended.
It was like John Wick 3. If you don't watch all the John Wicks back to back, John Wick 3 is just a never-ending fight sequence.
Yes.
And it gets
But what you
boring.
don't realize is like the first one had not as much fighting. The second one had a little bit more fighting. The third one's just like all out.
The third is the ending action sequence.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I can totally see that complaint with Man of Steel. I love how they handled Superman in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked that Superman. I think it goes very well for what the comic book Superman is.
My least favorite character in that movie, though, is Superman's dad. Not the original dad. What's his name?
Clark. Not
Oh,
Clark.
you mean
What's
Is
his
it
name?
Clark Kent?
No, Clark Kent's Superman.
His Kryptonian dad.
Not his Kryptonian dad. His
Oh.
Earth dad.
Oh, okay.
Because I grew kind of up with like
The Smallville dad.
Smallville dad and stuff, and this dad was just like, no, you aren't doing anything. So much that he lets himself die in a tornado while Superman is watching him.
Yeah.
Jonathan Kent.
Jonathan Kent, yes.
Which apparently from this image... Wait, no, this is his son?
No, Jonathan Kent is his dad.
Okay. But, wait, did he name his son Jonathan?
Probably.
He could have.
Okay, he might
As
have
a
named his
homage?
son. I don't know
But
much
yeah,
about
it
Superman's
did have
family.
character development.
Yeah, it had a lot of character development for Superman. I really love the scene where
That's what's got me excited for the new Batman movie. Is I'm hoping that's what they're
I'm
gonna
just
focus
really
on.
excited for the new lineup of DC movies because I dove right into the DC movies, and I loved them all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, each one had their own flaws, but they were great movies.
Yeah.
Well, I won't say all of them were great. They were all good movies.
Yeah, you have fun with them.
Yeah. I had to say that, but I was waiting to say that all.
You know what?
night.
We were actually supposed to talk about you watching all the DC movies.
Yeah, I know.
We're gonna have to do that next
Time for round 3. This is a 3-hour episode.
It's already going to be close to a 2-hour episode.
Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, this second half's been going on for 50 minutes.
I'm sorry, folks.
49 years.
Next time we'll talk about DC movies and a little bit of probably Endgame and Infinity War, because I watched those recently.
Oh, I was gonna say
And
that's
I
a
ha-
weird
and I ha-
thing.
And
to
I
talk
have some
about.
choice words about the movies.
Okay, sounds good. Well, anyways,
Hey,
we
Jordan's
hope.
movie rant episode.
Yay!
Sure, we'll call it that. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed this episode. That little bit of information about Nikola Tesla. Is it Nikolai or Nikola?
It depends on how you want to pronounce it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Nikola Tesla.
Nikolai-
What's the least offensive way of saying it? Because I already butcher words.
They're not. Either way isn't really offensive.
Most common Nikola Tesla.
Nicky Tesla.
Nikolai is more or less with the accent
Okay.
of where he's from, and Nikola is how Americans would pronounce it.
Okay, makes sense.
I believe.
Anyways,
Don't shoot me.
I hope you enjoyed all of that, and we will dive more into some of his wacky stuff that he did.
Hopefully
Eventually.
I think.
someday.
Yeah. And I also hope that you enjoyed this impromptu deep dive into, movies.
This
And
is me in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's 3 o'clock.
It is 3 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be fun having to build the rest of the deck that we're
That's
building
when we got to
tomorrow.
bed last
We
night.
had to make 2 trips to town.
Yeah, that wasn't fun.
We forgot a cord.
One chord almost ruined it all. Anyways, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with some friends and also other people on the internet. If you really like this episode, you can go ahead and give it a like on YouTube. You can also leave a comment and share the video. You can also share the regular podcast with anybody, or you can leave a review on the podcast through Spotify, iTunes, or Podchaser. You can also contact us through Twitter at BehindYouPod, or you can email us with subject ideas, comments, or just whatever at behindyoucast@gmail.com. Besides for that, Jordan, where can they
Yes.
find you?
Sorry, I blanked out there for a moment.
Apparently nowhere in this universe.
Poof.
Poof.
If they want to get a hold of me, comment straight to me. They can do it on our Twitter. Think I might be getting back on there soon.
Cool.
But as far as that, that's about the only place.
All right. And Terry, where can they find you?
You can find me at RamenCat13 on Twitter, and that's about it.
Awesome. Did you want to tell them about your new thing?
Oh, I can't. Shameless plug.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I've also just recently opened up another Twitter account. It's called Eldritch Quill, and it's where I will be doing art commissions, or also something I really want to get into because I love tabletop RPG games is cartography.
Wait a second.
Ooh.
You're doing full art commissions.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, I have it right now
How
just listed
much?
as character portraits for D&D games and stuff.
Perfect.
I will do art commissions though.
Well, I actually just need a character portrait made.
Okay.
So,
I have
Take
about,
my money.
We'll discuss that a little bit.
I
we'll
have
discuss
about
that
10.
later.
For this, I will do character portraits. I would do reference art for people if they're
Okay.
making games. And then I will do, because I have stuff to do it, like dungeon maps, battle maps.
Okay, cool.
World maps if anyone wants those, different
I
ways
have
of
some
doing
of those that I need done.
So yeah, that's just on Twitter at Eldritch Quill.
Eldritch Quill. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So far, don't have any.
I like that because in real life you're like smiling with thumbs up, but you're dying on the inside.
I
Like,
think that's an applause
Commission
moment.
slots are open.
I think that's an applause moment.
applause moment.
Also for. Go
Can I hit
ahead.
that button?
Yeah. Also, if
That was
it-
totally.
I said applause.
also
I
with-
had to hit more than one button.
With
Okay.
that too, you can contact me at eldritchquill@gmail.com or eldritchquillarts@gmail.com.
Okay, cool. Very cool. I'm actually excited for you to do that. I didn't know that you're doing full art commissions.
I need to
Yeah.
find out your prices.
And I've been trying to find somebody that I can work with very closely. So, because I am kind of picky about what I need.
Yeah, I still have to get a more expanded price sheet because currently the one that I blipped up there is just a D&D oriented.
Oh, that's
one.
fine. I mean, I literally work with you, so I can just bug you, and you can also just bug me about paying you and stuff. So
Yes.
it works. Also, I'm your employee, so employer. I used the wrong word. I'm tired.
Employee here at work, employee.
Yes, somehow.
Because I just
that
realized
happened.
when our manager's gone, I'm second in command.
Yes.
now. Oh boy, responsibilities.
Have fun with that. All right, and of course, you can catch me on Twitter at SirBoom9, and I also mainly manage the regular podcast Twitter account as well. So if you have any questions, you can get me there through either of those accounts. And with that, we have had a very long episode, a very long day, lots of technical difficulties, so I apologize for any audio mishaps throughout this whole thing because I'm mixing with a new... It's not even a mixer, it's more just an audio podcasting rig now.
It's lots of shiny buttons.
And it's got a touchscreen.
It does, and lots of little blipping lights.
If you want to see it, I'll post it on the Twitter account. I'll do a small review.
I don't know if I like it yet or not.
I like it. It's got buttons.
And there goes what little audience we had.
Oh boy. Well, I see you all later.
I feel like that brings
Have
more
a good
people.
night, everybody.
Good night.
Catch you all on the other side. And remember, look behind you because you never know when I'll hit more sound effects.
Get the pickles.
Bye.